Effort has a ceiling. Freedom does not. And there are only 24 hours in a day. So if freedom required more effort, the hardest workers on the planet would all be wealthy. But they're not. And that's the tension that we're going to overcome in today's episode, because we were taught that more hours equals more income. More sacrifice equals more success. More hustle equals more freedom. But time is finite and leverage is infinite. My point of view on this subject is simple. If your income model depends on increasing your effort, you will eventually hit a ceiling. And I'm speaking directly to the high capacity woman who works hard, delivers excellence, and still feels capped. The one who wonders why more output is not creating more freedom for herself and her family in her life. If that's you, then stick around. And I want to ask you a quick question. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, but still not getting ahead? If that answer is yes, type ceiling in the comments. We've got something for you that I'll be sharing here at the end of today's episode. And in case we're meeting for the first time, my name is Carrie Hyam, and I am one of the co-founders of the Feminine Wealth Community, an online high-ticket affiliate business model. We teach you how to create wealth online through passive premium partnerships. And I'm excited to be here with you today. If you're catching me and it's live, give me a hashtag live in the comments. And if it's not, give me a hashtag replay. Maybe you're watching the recording. I'd love to come back in and say hello later. And if you are brand new, maybe we're meeting for the first time. You're like, hey, this is my first time catching you. Let me know who you are, where you're watching from. I'd love to come in and celebrate you. And of course, my usual viewers, I would love to know how you're doing today. It's so good to see all of your faces. I'm streaming to multiple platforms right now. But let's redefine effort, okay? Because effort is the input of time and energy. It is powerful, but it's also limited. You cannot create more hours in a day, and you cannot sustainably expand energy without rest. The traditional model of, building wealth, if you will, says if you want more income, you have to work more hours. And we've seen that in our own lives, right? We grew up, society, teachers, public school system, whatever you want to say, told you had to get good grades so that you could go to college, so that you could get a good job, and then you'd make more money, and then you'd be successful and wealthy. And how many of us are finding out that that's not actually the case? And as we try to move out of that business model, because we don't understand the concept of leverage, we end up working ourselves back into jobs by working more hours, taking more clients, add more efforts, increase your availability, etc. And that model will work temporarily, then it collapses under its own weight. Wealth, however, is not built by maximizing your effort. Wealth is actually not tied to effort at all. It's built by multiplying output per unit of effort. And that is what we call leverage. So 4 principles kind of sit underneath this idea. The first principle is that your time is capped, right? You cannot outwork the clock. 24 hours in a day. Eventually you got to sleep. Eventually you got to eat. And if you're not spending time with those you love, you end up sacrificing those relationships. If you're not taking time for rest, you're eventually going to burn out, right? Second is that income is tied directly to hours. And this whole concept or principle is structurally limited. And then third, systems and assets can work while you sleep. And this is what we're going to be talking about today. And then fourth, leverage compounds faster than activity ever could. And I want you to think about that. Like, which principle challenges you the most right now? Are you in a place where you're like, I feel like I'm trying to outwork the clock, but I don't have enough hours in the day? Are you in a place where you've made some income online, but you're finding that your income is still tied directly to your hours? Are you in a place where you're looking to put systems and assets in play so that they work while you're off the clock? Or are you at a place where you're like, listen, I just want to scale my leverage. I want to scale it so that it compounds faster than activity. Let me know where you're at. I'd love to know in the chat, in the comments, or in the chat, wherever you happen to be watching this from. Now, let's talk a little bit about the hidden blocks that keep effort as your default strategy, because these blocks, if you will, mindset blocks is what I'm going to call them. A lot of times we don't even realize that we have them. And block number one, I've already mentioned it, it's hard work conditioning. And this is where your internal dialogue is saying, I was raised to believe hard work equals success. If I just keep going, it will pay off. It shows up as long hours, constant availability, and pride in being busy. If there is any white space in your calendar, you're immediately filling it with something. And let me be clear, hard work is honorable, but without leverage, it's going to eventually plateau and you're going to burn out. You are not wrong for working hard. You're simply ready for the next level strategy. Okay. And block number two is guilt around ease. And this one, it took me a lot of rewiring my mind to get out of, because the little voice in my head was saying, this feels easy, so it must be less valuable. So you end up overcomplicating things. You stack deliverables. You avoid automation because it feels too simple. You overcomplicate how you are selling your offers or whatever that may be. But here's the truth. Ease is not laziness. Ease is intelligent design. Like, let's work smarter. Let's deliver value at a higher level so that we then make money easier. It's okay for money to flow easily to you. And then block number three is control attachment. The belief kind of sounds like this. If I'm not directly involved, my quality is going to drop. So like nobody can do it as good as I can do it. So I'm just going to do it myself. So you keep everything on your plate. The result is exhaustion, stagnation, income ceiling. Like, the way that we reframe this, we want control to feel safe. Well, like, reframe this. Control feels safe, but safety does not equal success. Okay? And when you're thinking about this, leverage is what builds true wealth and time freedom. You can build standards without doing everything yourself. Like, I have so many SOPs that I've passed off onto my team, and my team is the one that's implementing them so that I have more time freedom to do the things that are going to drive revenue in the company, right? That's where I want to play, in the creation realm. And so you can build standards without doing everything yourself. It's absolutely possible. In fact, the only way that you're going to be able to scale to 7 figures and beyond is by putting systems, processes, standard operating procedures in place. Okay. Then block number 4, it's your income identity. A lot of people define themselves by how much you can personally produce. So stepping back to have other people create the revenue for you feels like you're losing value. And so it's going to show up as resistance to delegation or scalable offers. But here's the truth. Your value is not measured by how many hours you work. It's measured by the systems you create. And I learned this firsthand when I joined my very first passive premium partnership. It was this whole model that we now teach inside the Feminine Wealth community, where all I had to focus on was bringing people in the door. I was growing a targeted audience on social media. And then inside that targeted audience and community, I was promoting free offers that belonged to somebody else. And those free offers led to paid offers. And those paid offers led to high ticket offers. I let go of control the second I passed off those people onto that high ticket offer. And I didn't have to do anything. And it resulted in 4-figure commissions hitting my bank account every single day. $1,000 plus. Like, imagine this for a second. This is where true leverage comes into play. Imagine all you have to do is grow a targeted audience and learn how to market an offer to that audience. And you make 6, multiple 6, if not 7 figures a year in doing that. It requires you to let go of control of the back end. You need to allow the system to work on the back end. You hand the people over, right? It's like this beautiful baton handoff, and the team, the systems, they take care of those people. They handle all the fulfillment. They do all the high ticket selling for you. They handle all the customer support. It's a true time freedom business model. Then block number 5 is underestimating assets. Like if you focus on daily revenue but ignore long-term like ownership of the process, it can end up showing up as like chasing quick wins instead of building equity. Like I like to think of it as the more assets, and this was especially true at I do it now, but how I learned this was, premium partner with this brand. I focused on creating systems that made my life easier. Those systems included content batching. I now have systems that are full AI that make content batching, keeping track of customers, all those things so simple. But we have to put the structure in place. We have to batch create. We have to build the assets, right? In order for it to work. Now, quick money can feel productive and assets can feel slow because maybe it takes time to create that asset or put that system in place. But assets are what change your life. So take like a little reflection moment. What block might be quietly capping you right now? Drop it in the chat. I would love to know. And I want to give you a quick structure in moving forward. I call this the 5 pillars of limitless leverage. Okay. Pillar number 1 is going to be asset creation. So assets are things that continue to produce value without daily reinvestment of your time. So when you're thinking of content creation or those type of things, it would be like reels and posts that continue to bring in leads and sales, right? It could be maybe it's like a little freebie that you offer someone. Intellectual property is going to equal equity, and we deliver that through automated systems. So if you answer the same question every week, maybe record it once. Turn repetition into intellectual property. Ask yourself, what am I doing repeatedly that could become an asset? And then pillar number 2 is scalable delivery. If your income depends on one-to-one effort, like you hopping on all the sales calls, or you being the one to create everything, you being the one to fulfill, you being it will always mirror your schedule. And scalable delivery means serving many without multiplying your hours. This could be moving from one-on-one structures to group structures. It could be, rather than in-person meetings, it could be digital, right? Or strategic partnerships. Look at your highest demand offer that you promote and ask, how can I deliver this to more people without adding more hours? And then pillar number 3 is leverage positioning. Participation earns, right? Leverage can compound. This could be maybe you own equity in a company, or maybe you participate in a passive premium partnership where you share revenue, right? That's what we teach you how to do here inside the Feminine Wealth community, where you can actually share revenue with the Feminine Wealth brand or owning your own intellectual property. Think about that. Where are you renting your talent instead of owning the upside? And then pillar number 4 is strategic elimination. Not everything deserves optimization. Some things deserve removal from your calendar altogether. If a task does not create assets, does not increase equity, does not move you toward leverage, question it. Elimination is a wealth strategy. So remove one low leverage task this week, something that you can get off your plate, hire someone for a VA that can do it so that it frees up your time to focus on leveraged activities. And then pillar number 5 is compounding focus. Wealth requires concentration. When you're splitting your effort across too many directions, nothing compounds properly. So choose one primary wealth vehicle and protect it. Build infrastructure around it and ask yourself, what am I scattering that could be or should be consolidated? So here's a little bit of implementation practices that you can do each day. Practice number 1, I called the weekly leverage audit. Review your calendar and label activities as effort or leverage. Effort requires repetition. Leverage continues working after you stop. Client calls are effort. Batch creating content is leverage. This clarity changes behavior. And then practice number 2, build before you respond. Spend the first hour. I have said this in the last 3 podcasts that I've done, because I'm have at least 1 hour a day where it is spent doing nothing but leverage. Okay. Like that hour, I call it my golden hour, where it's like I'm choosing repetitive tasks that I'm automating or passing on to my team or getting rid of altogether. So instead of manually onboarding clients, I've built a structured onboarding sequence, right? Like build a system that's going to free up hours permanently. And then practice number 4, like take like a little monthly review. Ask yourself, like, what do I own that increases in value? What did I put out this month that was leveraged and raised my income past my effort? If the answer is little or nothing, that's not a shame, it's awareness. Begin shifting even 10% of your effort towards creating those assets that can then be leveraged later. And small structural shifts are really all that you need to create exponential results in the very short period of time. So, in closing, you are not capped because you lack discipline. You are capped because your effort has a ceiling, and you have likely been playing a game that rewards exhaustion instead of leverage. But you are not here to trade time forever, right? Like we want time freedom. We want freedom to be able to live life on our own terms. And you are here to build intelligently smarter systems that scale. Imagine income not limited by your calendar. Imagine stepping away and still earning. Like imagine building once and benefiting repeatedly day after day from here on out. It's not a fantasy. It's putting simple structures and systems in place. Now listen, the women who build lasting wealth are not always the busiest. They are the most leveraged. They think in assets. They move towards ownership. They respect the limits of time and expand beyond them through design. If this shifted something and you comment leverage below, and if you're in a place where you're like, listen, I love what you are saying, but how do I get started? Like, how do I actually get started with an opportunity that's passive and premium, and it's more of a partnership with RevShare? If that's the case, then check out the Feminine Wealth Community. I'm going to have our team drop a link somewhere attached to this video. It will be for our new course, Laptop Money Mastery. It's the starter kit. It's step by step on how you're able to leverage passive premium partnerships, us handling all of the headache and time consuming stuff for you while you get high ticket commissions deposited in your bank account. Okay? Think in assets. If this shifted something for you, let me know. Declare that you are done trying to outwork the clock and share this with anyone that you think may benefit from it. You know, we are not here to glorify exhaustion. We're not here to tell you have to hustle harder or do more. We're here to build beyond the ceiling, and leverage is how we do it. So hopefully you got value today. Grab that link for Laptop Money Mastery. Go check it out. See what being a passive premium partner with the Feminine Wealth brand is all about. And with that, we'll see you on the next episode.